Okay, so recently, for the first time in my life, I discovered Class of '09 through like fan animations and stuff. It's pretty neat. I was like, okay, let's experience this. Got both games, and then absolutely lovely. And supposedly the newest one, the flip side, is coming out on Monday, I think, which is super neat. And so we're doing this to commemorate it. So there isn't much music in the game because it's a like a visual novel kind of thing. But what we do get is the menu theme, the menu piano, and then also there's a little bit of scoring in the intro scenes, but it's not anything crazy, and I didn't want to look into it. Anyway, so the reason I called this one of my most difficult transcriptions is because coming from a land of jazz and other such things, there isn't much rubato. Everyone's kind of locked into a something. This one is not. The tempo fluctuates a lot. So the transcription might not look very inviting because I tried to transcribe it in a way that it's like to make it sound as close as it can to the original within Sibelius rather than like realistically how would someone like to see this to perform it. But anyway, it's still like pretty approachable and not anything crazy. Yeah, so this is the piano solo piano thing that plays in the menu. Generally you come across it straight after you've finished one of the endings. And yeah, people seem to really have like a connection to it. And I think it was a really smart choice to use it for the re-up also, because it like I've been on this whole like tangent lately of like how repetition is like what gives you that emotional connection to something. And so it's a bit like, yeah, it's like good seeing music repeated in some senses, especially because like you didn't even hear it that much in the original. And it especially works because I think the re-up has even more scuffed endings and stuff. So it like really it weirdly elicits kind of an emotional response at times when you come from some of the less nice endings. Like if you look on the YouTube of this, where you kind of the only place to find the audio, everyone's like quoting uh the Jekka, hey, I'm sorry, miss you, because like it's very poignant, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, let's talk about this. For solo piano, we're in C minor, which with my inference skills, I will say it probably means this was semi improvised or quickly done, because C minor is generally the most comfortable key for a pianist and they just kind of know it very well. And so we're just chilling in C minor, doing some stuff. I thought it was originally longer than it was, but no, it's just an A B form that I suppose you could say repeats exactly twice, and then it just loops that. So it's actually not very much music. Like, look at this. There's 23, 24, 25. There's 26 bars. I suppose you could say times two, like 52 bars. There's 52 bars for the whole thing, and we're going to be talking about it because it's a good 52 bars. Also, it's really slow. Anyway, so we start out really slow, quarter note equals 80. We're starting with a C minor kind of sound, but we're really favoring these block chord voicings with minor seconds in them. So rather than doing like a straight C minor or C minor 7, we're doing, oh, I suppose this is actually, yeah, no, I literally wrote C minor 9. So yeah, it's a C minor 9, because we're like really accenting that semitone clash between them. And we're treating the right hand like a rootless voicing and the left hand to add the root. So we've just got this, and then voice leads down to the fifth of the E flat major 7, which again, we don't have to change anything from this, so we just drop it down an octave, and that sounds like this. wonderful way to start it. It really gets the character across immediately and already establishes the thematic material, which is taking an arpeggio and moving the octave. That is all over this, and it's established pretty much immediately. Also, this is like the only spot you'll find, one of the only spots you'll find C minor in the whole thing, which is interesting. Anyway, so now we lead down into a F minor 9, which is the forward da, and we sit there for a little bit. We hit a low, big bass note, and then we voice just in thirds. We have a little bit of a run into it. That's also common in this song. And then again, we do our thing where we move the voicing crazy, and then we establish this motif that doesn't have, it's like debatable whether this is over a chord or not, because like a chord isn't played with it, but the other notes seem to be held like with the sustain pedal, but it's like, are you really conceptualizing it that way? But anyway, so we just have this in like, I suppose what I'd call broken octaves, which sounds amazing. And it's, I think a big thing with this piece is pentatonics, and like, because it's meant to be calm and relaxing in a kind of emotional it's like an emotional whiplash kind of thing, where it's like very calm and relaxing, but also like kind of deeply complicated. And I guess that's meant to contrast what the actual gameplay is like, you know. And this is really high in the piano, high piano register, very common for like sad or emotional kind of stuff. But yeah, so let's play that next 2 bars. Absolutely beautiful. So what this is just, it's like taking the idea of a C, I suppose minor 11 arpeggio, but you could probably better think of it in terms of C minor pentatonic, like we're just playing notes from C minor pentatonic. And then the 7 resolves down to G, just fine, normal. First interesting part of this is we're using D minor 7 rather than D minor 7 flat 5, which would be diatonic. It's like a choice you can make in minor 2 5s, but generally people use the flat 5. So I guess it was done like this to avoid the drama and dissonance that the flat 5 creates. You know, it's meant to be peaceful. Also, it gives a bit of a C Dorian kind of sound, which is, again, like a kind of calming thing. And then we just have this. Again, it just feels kind of noodly, but I feel like this was composed rather than improvised. But anyway, so we're just playing the arpeggio, but this time down, like a cascading down, which sounds weirdly really good. And then we just play notes of our arpeggio: flat 7, root 3, flat 7, root 3. So we just take the shape and move it, and then again flat 7, root 3. Again, there's a big thing in this with just moving stuff in octaves, you know. Also, we speed up a little bit here and slow down. It's very nice. And then we just have some like little accompanying bass notes. So all together. And then that, as the 2 chord, sets up our 5 chord. We choose to have a more altered sound on this 5 chord, so we actually go for the dissonance here, but it feels less like dissonance and more like color in this sense, because it feels more modal. It's like we're slowly enjoying all the notes in the scale rather than like getting to and from places. So again, just this is just a, I don't know why I said flat 13, but so it has the sharp 9, which is crazy, very aggressive sound, and then we just take it down an octave again, with just the simplest bass accompaniment. Just gives us the root notes, and then, I mean, if you don't know, because the root note's here, we don't need it in the other hand. And then we do it again up higher, and then we have this, we take, well, not that, but it's similar. It's like we introduce this kind of variation on the motif of that whole like da 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 da, which is cool. And this is less of an arpeggio, more of like a walk up to the B flat. So then we get that. Again, we're keeping that sound of the G7, and then again introducing like the flat 9, the flat 13, and all those other kind of notes, and ending on the tritone unresolved to resolve in the next bar for the C, where we take where we take a similar approach to what we did on the D chord. Again, arpeggiated chord, and then we just flat 7, 9, 3, 5, 7, 9, 3, and then we just end up here. So again, it's just like play it, and then because we're holding the same pedal, pretty much any notes that support the harmony will really work with it, so we get that whole. So again, oh, and then also what's interesting here is we have a rising idea, and then we have a descending idea, where it's like this goes down, like a downward cascade, which is really nice, like a contrasting thing, especially because we have up, kind of down, and then we have, it's like a little U, kind of like down, and then we go back up. Very nice. And then here we go to A flat major 7, flat 6, normal sound, and then we just noodle around with some stuff to play that kind of major 9 sound. And then we bring back this motif of that whole that is, yeah, the same. It's the same as before, which is cool. Yeah. In case you don't know, NC means no chord, which means play it, but there's no chord behind it. Let's play from the D minor. But then again, that also gives us another feeling of that kind of A, B kind of form, where it's like we do a little something with arpeggios, and then we do our motif, we do a little something, and then we do our motif to like cap it off. But yeah, super neat, super noodly, very cool. And then we hit this arpeggio a little bit before for another D minor 7. If you notice, this is actually a tritone movement, which is kind of neat. But yeah, and then we just go, again, just more kind of noodly stuff over the chord. The bass line's a little bit more complicated now. But again, that's just like 3, 7, root, 3, 7, root, 3, and then we just take that pattern up another octave. And this is just G7, sharp 5, sharp 9, and then we just take it up, and then take it up, and then take it up, with just some bass behind it, and that caps off the A section. I probably should have labeled it, but whatever. So that's the first section, as I would define it. And then, yeah, it's just super open, super nice. There's like a melody at times, but a lot of the time there isn't. It's more like a soundscapey, exploratory kind of thing. And I must say that the actual sound of the piano itself in this, like the processing they've done to it, is just immaculate. It sounds phenomenal. But yeah, so I'll just play that first A section. It's just so peaceful. It's just phenomenal. And yeah, only achieved with just kind of normal extended chords, not really doing anything to the extended chords, just kind of playing the notes. And look how far we got. But anyway, so B section, obviously the rule with the B section is contrast. So here we're very floaty, stoppy, not much consistency. And so here we get some consistency. We also go to the major. Oldest trick in the book, if you're starting minor, just go to its major for the B section. Oldest trick. Anyway, so we have a motif, and then we either take it through the F minor chord, which is cool because it's like us picking up some momentum. You know, it's going somewhere. The song is going somewhere. It's not just rambling, even though it felt like it at first. It's like got somewhere it's going with it. And then we have this, which is, what is this? It's like meant to be similar to that, but I guess following more like an F minor pentatonic sound. Because we go to the F minor, which is, I suppose, in this sense, the 2. And then we just straight up just go to cap it off with the 2-5-1 in C minor, get back, and then we get this. Again, we're taking this thematic material of that groupings of 3, and then it's like just up, and then up, and then up, and then up, you know, that whole. And then we just kind of halt our momentum to end on the natural 3 of the G7, and then we repeat our upward motion to get us back to the beginning with a strong 5-1. And the bass is just doing this, just kind of randomy kind of stuff. But yeah, now that I think about it, when it was performed, it was probably thought of in terms of like a loose idea of where they were going, but like of the motifs and stuff, but otherwise improvising, because that's just kind of what it feels like to me. And then the whole thing just repeats again from there, and then repeats forever. Because I mean, it's not like we're spending forever in the menus. It's like it's like when you go to play the game, it's like you go into the saves, or you start a new game, or you go into the text messages. That there's 3 things to do. Like we don't need complicated menu music, you know. But yeah, again, a thing to note, I suppose I'm done talking about it in general, and now I'm taking more general kind of like rules about writing for things from this. But like, again, writing for solo instruments, so always difficult. But notice how the whole range of the piano is used. all of it. Oh, not the. I mean, there's even points where there's like a really low, like I think that's the lowest D a piano can play. It's like used for effect, or like the top with that like 15 volt lines. It's actually 15 ma. I don't know why it's 15 ma. Yeah, they've used the whole of the piano because it's like it's not going to get in anyone's way, and it gives it some variety, which is always nice. And then there's also like space to sit. It's just, have we got anything like? Yeah, we've got some general stuff like when the right hand's a bit higher up, the left hand will go a bit higher up to kind of when you have, I suppose you could say, two voices, like the two hands. It can be quite unpleasant when there's like a big discrepancy in register between them. So it's generally good practice to keep them relatively close together, just like not like 3 octaves apart, because it's like they don't sound like they're connected. They don't sound like they're playing the same music, you know. But yeah, and the natural 2 chord was a really kind of interesting choice. I've seen a transcription. I'll link it because I definitely needed some help with these rhythms because there was no way I was getting them by myself without some sort of guide. And they used a lot of the flat 5, but it's like, no, it's not, which is, yeah, it's just another interesting little touch to it. And I wonder if it's going to be used for the flip side. I don't. Well, it's from a different perspective, so I guess you'd assume that it'd be something different. What would be cool is like a variation on it. That would be really neat. But we'll have to see.